Hello, welcome to part 18 of this Learning JavaScript series. So this is what we are going to be building from scratch using only the vanilla JavaScript we have been looking at on this entire playlist. We are bringing in the menu items from a list, a JSON. We are bringing the prices in, and our script is just vanilla JavaScript. And this is the HTML, this simple menu selected cart, and this is how it will work. We can select an item and then choose to add it to the cart, another item, maybe an espresso, and then we can also remove. So that's it. This is what we'll be building. So let's get started. All right, so let's start with the page. Let's just add the empty stuff. The script that points to our JS file, and in our body we're just gonna have a h1 with a menu and h2 with a selected and h2 cart. And the menu, let's have a div id is equal to menu, and then on the selected let's have a div saying nothing selected yet, and let's have an ID detail. And on our cart let's have a another list empty for now. That's where we are going to append the items of our cart and display a total. On a paragraph, let's display a so this is gonna be this is our skeleton. This is our little skeleton for our whole web page. So here it is. No CSS fancy, or just this little CSS to have the background color dark gray and the text this color so it's not white. That's all the whole CSS we're going to have on this page. We're going to work on the JavaScript side of having this work. So let's keep going. So now the data. We are going to have a menu.json, and I'm just going to copy paste so you don't have to watch me write all this. It's the same array we've been looking at on the playlist. It's an array or a list of objects, and each object contains ID and name. So in this case, we are going to have only 3 items on our menu. Now let's add another one for the prices.json. And again, I'm going to copy paste so you don't have to watch me write this. So for each item on our menu, we have another JSON having the prices for each one, simulating like we fetch the items from one and the prices from another table from the server. I don't know. All right, Control S. So let's close this. Control S, script, Control S. All right, let's start. So I'm gonna just rearrange this a bit. I'm gonna make this smaller so I can then place this on the side. So I can look at this while I do the script. Maybe for now, because we are gonna grab these elements like we saw in the last video. Well, first we will need an empty cart so for when we add stuff to it. Menu, document dot get element by ID, and we are gonna get menu. So maybe it's too big, and this I can make this a bit. And then const detail box document dot get element by ID. Oops. Detail. Yes, this is detail. This is menu, detail, and we are missing const cart list cart and the little total line. We need to grab that one also. Const total line equal document dot get element by ID, and on the next playlist, when we start with React, we will do this exact example using React. See how much, I would say, simpler. Right. So what happened here? I grabbed the elements of our HTML and brought them into the JavaScript as an object. Now let's get going. So like we did exactly the same as we did on the last video, let's bring in the menu. Last video we brought them in from a array we hard coded. Today we are bringing them in from our JSON using a fetch like we did on all the promises and await async videos. So async because the fetch, remember, is an asynchronous function. So it returns a promise. So we're gonna need async and await because they are promises. All right. Inside our load menu asynchronous function, we are gonna need a constant response for response, and then here we are await, and then we are not going to use my little fetch functions like the ones we created on the other videos. This is the real one. This is the one created by JavaScript. And we are fetching the menu.json from our files. So let's just console.log this res just to see what's going on. All right. Where's the inspector? It's over here, sorry. Console. So let's save this. So here's what this response brings back. Type basic URL from localhost menu.json, redirect false, status 200, okay, equals true. Body, headers, okay, status, body. Response, the prototype, array, blah, 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 I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff, right? So this is the whole object await brings back to us. So this is the important, the body of the response, readable stream. I don't know. Anyways, that body, we need another await to turn that body into the actual data. So we do another const drinks. So we do another await. So we take the res object and do one of its methods. And one of its methods it has is this JSON method. And it also returns a promise. So like this. And then let's console log the drinks. Save. Inspect. Console. So here we console.log the return from the await res.json. And here is latte, ID latte, name latte, Americano and house blend. Let me just type of drinks object. All right, let's keep going. So let me close this one. Let me get rid of this console log with what's just for educational purposes. Let's get rid. So still inside our asynchronous function load menu, we bring in the menu, we turn the response, we get the actual drinks from the response, and then let's start working with the menu box. So like we did on the last video, we are gonna turn each menu item into a clickable button. So let's go. Menu.text content equal to nothing. Clear the actual text content from the menu box. And then let's loop. No. Why does it autofill it like this? Array dot for each element. Is this a way to do it? I don't know. I'm gonna do our simple version with parentheses and takes a, you guessed it, a callback, like we have been doing on our playlist. So like this, right? And here we take the item, or I'm gonna name it drink. Because it's drinks, we put in the list as drinks, so each drink of drinks. So then we're gonna create a button object using the document dot create element, and takes in a string. Now we have a button object. Now let's change the button text content and name it drink dot name button dot add event listener. So we are adding an event listener to the browser and say, for this button we are creating this button object. We are creating, when someone clicks on it, run this callback. And the callback is going to be select drink. The callback will run a function. When we click on a button, we will run a callback function, and the callback function inside it runs a function passing in this drink. Is this confusing? Now let's append menu box dot append child btn. Here we go. So this is not finished yet, I know, but let's load menu. Let's run it. Oops. And see what happens. There we go. We bring our little buttons we created here for each drink on our drinks array and create our button. So if we click on one of these, we are gonna run this function, and this function runs the select drink function. So guess what's gonna happen? Let me click. Oop. Uncut error. Select drink is not defined. That's right, because this function we will run when we click on a button. Well, we will run this entire function, but this function runs this one when we click, and that one is not yet defined. So let me clear this. Let me just make this smaller so I do not close it. And let's work on this select drink function now while we are at it. So it's going to be also asynchronous because we are going to fetch the prices from the drink we select a drink. So we go through each item on the JSON, and each item is an object which has a .name and a .id, remember? Console.log the drink. And here, it console.logged it 3 times because it created 3 buttons, one with each of the objects. ID latte, name latte. All right. So creates a button and runs when we click select drink, and the select drink get passed in these curly brackets, the object, the drink object. So let's work on that. Let's clear here. Let's get rid of this console.log. and asynchronous function select drink, and it will take parameters, and we will name it drink. The tail box dot text content, so it will immediately display checking price once we click, while it waits for the price, or awaits. Const res, again a response, because it's in two parts. Remember that we first bring in the response, prices.json, and then another await, because again it's asynchronous when it turns the response body into the actual JSON. And then let me just console.log the prices just to see what's going on. We are missing a closing curly brackets. Where did I miss that? Right, let's save. So when I click this, no error, and it displays my promise pending, and now it is fulfilled. Yeah, but where is my data? Yeah, because we are waiting. We are wait. Yes, because if we just remember, this is again is a promise. So if we do not await it, it returns immediately the object still with the pending and stuff, and until it resolves, then it sets the value, etc., etc. So let's run this again. Control S. I need to click here. There. So now if I click, I see the console.log prices, but now I see the I do not see the promise object. I now just see the prices. So this is the important, so well, learning experience. That's why we need the await on the converting the response to a JSON. Anyways, so here's the prices. It's a again, you see that list? It's a list of objects, right? No, it's just one object with key value pairs. Yeah, prices is not a list of objects. It's just one object with these key value pairs. So, okay, so to access this price, we need to call, all right. So here, let me get rid of the console. Let me just const. Are we? Yeah, because we are looping. Well, not directly, but we are running this selecting. No, when we click, we just need the price for this one object. So this one coffee. Okay, so then it's price is equal to the name of our object, which is prices. And then we are going to use the square bracket notation so we can put in a variable like this. This is the debugger. Debugger, the console.log. Just this one price. Control S, latte, there. Americano, 3.75. Houseman. Yeah, okay, so we are, when we click, we run this select drink, and this select drink fetches the prices object from from over here, and then gets the price for the one drink using the ID. Simple enough. Okay, so we need to put them here. So let me get rid of this extra space. Let me comment out the console log. Let me add a whole bunch of space here. And now detail box, which is what we bring in with this detail box dot text content, it's going to be drink dot name plus a little separating line or something plus the price we bring. There we go. Let's do housekeeping. Let me close this. To fixed. And then let's add a space because I already know we are going to add a button next to add it to the cart. Because right now it displays the one we select. But then we need a button to add it to the cart. Like we select this one and add to cart. Or this one, add to cart. Or... All right. So again, like on the other, const add button equals document create element, and then takes a string button. Now we're going to add some text to the button, add to cart, and then the same. We need to add an event listener to the browser to listen to clicks on this button object. And I forget, what do this take in? Oh yes, a callback function. Well, first what we care about, and then callback function. Little humor from me. Was that too funny? And then we will run, when we click here, the nestedness, right? We will run a function. When we click on that button, it will add it to the cart here. And what will we pass to the cart? We are going to pass an object, and so let's create it. And pass it. Create it and pass it at the same time. ID drink.id, comma, name drink.name, comma, price. And then just this one is just price because we got it here. Price. Simple. Now let's display it, append it. Detail box append child, add button, Control S, moment of truth. Let's see, nothing selected yet. Latte, there we go, latte. And if we add to cart, guess what is going to happen? Boom. Uncut reference error. Add to cart is not defined. This function will run when we click at HTML button element anonymous script 33.5 script in line 33. So here. So we're getting there now. All right. So now let's write this as to cart. Function. And we'll take the, what are we passing to it? An object. ID, name, and price. Let's call it item. And then well, let's console.log our cart. And remember, this cart is our little empty array we created. We created an empty array at the beginning, and we are pushing an object to it. So let's go. Let me Control S. Nothing selected yet. So latte, add to cart. So now here we have a cart with a latte. Now let's add an Americano. Now we have two items on our array. Item 0 at index 0 of our list is an object with ID latte, name latte, and price. And then the second item, or on indexed 1, it's another object with ID Americano, with name Americano, and with the price. And then if we add to cart the same one, now we have 3 items on our cart. Beautiful, no? All right, let's keep going. So let me reload the page. Nothing selected yet. Because it does not keep anything. This cart is not on the local storage or anything. It's just on memory, right? If we keep adding stuff to our cart and then we reload the page, our cart vanishes forever. Very sad. Right, let's keep going. Instead of console logging the cart, let me we are gonna render the cart. Now, guess what's gonna happen? What? Where's my mistake? Why didn't I get a render cart mistake? Because we are running it and it still does not exist. Lol. Because I had not saved it. Simple enough, right? All right, Control S to save. Reload. Latte, add to cart. There we go. We are on code reference error because render cart is still not defined. All right, so let's get working on our final, well, maybe final function to render the cart. So each time we add something to the cart, we are gonna send the item to the cart list, and then we are gonna re-render the cart part, this one. Every time we add something to it, we are gonna render it again. Let's go. Function render cart. Cart list dot text content. Well, it is empty now, but still, since every time we're gonna re-render, we wanna start from scratch again. So cart list text content empty string. Control S. So right now, if I add to cart, now we don't get the error because now we are running this text cart, but we are just making this empty, which already is. Right. All right. Now, for each cart dot for each item on our cart list, we are going to run a callback function here we go. And for each item on our list, and it's a list of objects. Remember them? So this is when this comes in handy. Control. Can I put these 3 dots? Or just do nothing? All right, no error. So I just wanted to look at our object. So if we add to cart, we have ID, name, and price on the 0 index. ID, name, and price. All right, so for each item, what are we gonna do? We are gonna create a list item. Document dot create element, a list element. Because our cart was an unordered list. Remember that? li dot text content equals item dot name, because this is for each item. So we right now item is an object, not a list of objects. It's the object we are at right now, which item dot name plus our little separator, and then we are concatenating item dot price dot to fixed with 2, which means 2 decimal point. And then we are appending cart list dot append child, and we are appending this li object. So save, latte, add to cart, and here we go. We now have appended to an unordered list. But then our total, which is our total line, is not being changed. So we need to change this 0 every time we add something to the cart. So every time we add something to the cart, we need to recalculate from the list, right? Take each element from the list and then sum all the prices. So let's loop through it again. All right, so we inside our render cart, still inside our render cart, let's add some space to do the adding, the total. So and this is a let, not a const, because we're going to be changing this 0. Cart dot for each item on our list, we run this callback function. And what are we going to do? We are going to say total is equal to total plus item dot price. So we are gonna, every time we add to the cart, we iterate through the array to recalculate a new total. And then after the loop, we display ones on the total. Total line dot text content is equal to total, like this, and then we add total dot to fixed with 2 decimal places. Let me save. See if it works. Latte, add to cart. No. What's wrong with my total? Ew. There. We are not passing each item. So there. Latte. There. Total 450. Americano, add to cart 825. House blend, add to cart 1125. Super. All right. So this was going to be the whole video I planned, but now I see that here, let's continue for a bit longer and add a little button here so we can remove from the cart. So let's do that. So on our, where is it? On our cart dot for each, here is where we are appending childs to the cart list. So before we append the list child, let's add a little button to the list. Let me const x is gonna be document dot create element button. Now we're gonna create a button, just like we did up here. For each item on our cart list items, for each one of them, because we are looping in each one of them, we are creating a button object, and then we are adding some text to the button. Text content is gonna be X. And then we are gonna add an event listener. We are gonna assign a callback function to the event when someone clicks on the little X. And this little X is gonna, when clicked, I'm not sure because it's a one-liner, remove, because we are just gonna remove cart item. So it's just a one-liner, so I'm just gonna do it like this. All right, remove cart item, of course, it doesn't work yet. And let me see if this works. li dot append child, we append the button to the list item. And how will that look? And then we append child li to the cart list. So we append the X to the li, and then we append the li to the cart list. How will that work? Latte. Well, looks like it works. Head. No, it's in the body. And then our cart on order list, our li. Well, yeah, inside the li we have these two things. So inside this parent we have a text content, and then we appended a button inside the li. Okay, so it works. Where do we have this console.login? I don't know. We need to add some functionality to our X button, because right now if we click on it, yes, our onCart reference error from remove from cart is not defined. I know. So add to cart, remove from cart, also takes the item, and then we are gonna remove it from the cart. How to remove the item passed in? And I said we were not gonna look at new things, but I had to Google some stuff, like for example, How do I remove an item from a list? There's a couple of ways, or a whole bunch of them, but JavaScript has this very nice, sorry, this wiggly line is because so JavaScript, I was saying, JavaScript has this nice index of, which takes an item and looks for that item inside a list or an array and returns the index. So in this case, I will be the index, or whenever it finds the item. And if it does not find it, it returns a -1. That's the thing we have to know. That's the Googling part. So if it's not equal to -1, means if it is equal to -1, means the item we clicked on was corrupt, or this was I don't know what. So by this we are guaranteeing ourselves that the item was found in our list. So when we remove it, we don't remove accidentally something else. So, and then cart splice I at the ith place and only remove one thing, which is what this splice is. And then we have to render the cart again, now without the item. So Control S. Now let me close this. Add to cart. Let me add 3 things, and then if we X and the total worked again, yes. So if we the splice, if here we were to put 2 and click here, does it remove 2 things? I need to save. 1, 2, 3. If I click here, remove 2 things. So this is at the ith, at the place with the index I, remove just 1 thing and redo the list. Control S. So this is it. Just for good measure, let's, oops, ID espresso, comma, name. So one of the benefits of this working like this is now, because now on the data we changed our menu, and we don't have to go manually tweak our web page. And then prices, comma, and then it's espresso. I spelled it right? I better do this to get it right. And then let's just set it to be 4.0, just because. Control S. And now let's see if it works. Control S. Latte, this still works. Now espresso, add to cart. And here still works. Another espresso, add to cart. Now let's remove an espresso. Beautiful, no? So this is it for now. Vanilla JavaScript. What do you think? So this is just like a setup for my next playlist, which is gonna be doing this in a library called React. All right, so see you there. And that's it for this one. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.